All right, round one, we won the die roll, so we'll play first. Yeah. Good hand. We'd go turn one map, find our white mana if we need it. Otherwise, we can hold off on it. I'm not even sure I need to play a turn 2 mechanic, although I guess the mechanic has good synergy with Aether Seer, but what else does it have good synergy with in our deck? I mean, it gives you a Revolt trigger, but I don't really care about that. I guess it has good synergy with, like, Elite. It has decent synergy with Aether Seer, but actually, I guess it's mostly a Grizzly Bear in our deck that possibly gets rid of pesky enchantments, like Revoke Privileges and stuff, so, okay. I still might just want to play it on turn 2. Alright, opponent is with us, and we are ready to go. So we'll play map and pass. Opponent waited quite a bit there. I don't know if they're maybe double queuing or they've got something else going on, but this could be a bit of a grind here. Okay, opponent goes, Forest go. Now we've got the growth, so I kind of want to hold off on the map. But then again, that's not a great reason to hold off on the map, is it? I'm okay getting a bear down, I guess. Alright, let's just crack it. Get our white mana. Play the mechanic. No bounce, please. It's funny that if you click yes, you have to return a land, which is a bit of a problem. Well, opponent's turn looks similar. Growths for days, yeah. We've got all the Revolt enablers a little boy could ask for. So let's play the Inspector here. Pass. Let's see what land they find. Mountain. Okay. So green-red. Reckless Racer. Yeah, that card's good. Can't do much about that. Ooh, well, here's another good card. All right. Oh, yeah, and we only have to pay. That's beautiful. Why don't we... Oh, yeah, because we only have to pay 3 for this. Let's play the Unbridled Growth. And then I think we're going to sack 1 now. Because I just want to draw. Okay. Now we'll play the Express. And we'll pass. Basically, I'm cracking growth to dig towards some of our removal, because it does seem like Racer's possibly something we might have to deal with. We'll see. Mobile Garrison. All right. No fears. Shock the Inspector. Well, that's not a huge deal. Okay. So, all right. Untap. Let's crack our other growth. Even though we're not going to have a Revolt trigger, I think at this point I'm just... Basically, I'm digging for goods. I have no need for the growth other than a Revolt trigger, and we're officially out of gasoline once we play this Aether Seer. So I'd rather see if I can find something. Like, even if we draw the Lifecraft Cavalry, there's such a good chance that we're just going to be able to... Another problem is that if I play the Aether Seer, I can't force the Racer to block because they can just activate the Garrison. So Aether Seer is not going to be able to quite do its job, which is still okay. But let's crack this growth. I want to draw. Like I said, even though we drew Cavalry, we're still going to be able to get the Revolt trigger. I'm confident of that. So I guess we want to do Aether Seer post-combat. So we activate Express, swing for 5, and then get 5 energy when we play the Aether Seer. That makes sense to me. Like I said, I can't force the Racer to block because he can just crew the Garrison in response. In fact, my opponent can just do that every turn. They just get to rummage every turn, which is actually really strong. At least the Express is growing. Okay, so then we just go land, Aether Seer, add 5 energy, go. Aether Seer just totally gets turned off by vehicles, doesn't it? I guess that is kind of a big issue with it. Because my opponent can just crew anything that I want to force to block, right? And the fact that this thing has first strike means that it's holding down the world pretty effectively here. But that's okay. I think... Oh, that's so perfect. My God. That is so perfect. All right. Oops. So let's crew here. Swing for 6. Oh my God, this is going to be such a blowout. Do you guys like blowouts? I'm kind of a fan. I'm a little bit of a fan of blowouts. So no revolt trigger. I'm still going to play the cavalry. It actually can attack into the first striker, so seems worth it. And now we can actually force him to block with the Aether Seer since they don't have the vehicle anymore. We are out of cards in hand. Keep that in mind. However, we have Rishkar's expertise. We have the Dragster. Opponent is just like, okay, I can't beat you. I agree, opponent. I mean, Untethered Express, attacking for 7 next turn, plus cavalry, plus I'm going to force you to block. Yeah. All right. Well, that worked well, and the expertise was coming up. So opponent's 3-color. They're playing an energy deck, perhaps? Doesn't seem like they're playing an energy deck, which makes the Minister seem a bit out of place. But they are definitely playing 3-color. Splashing for Minister is my assumption, since we see a couple red cards that aren't really worth a splash. So the Minister splash is very interesting. I'm interested to see if they have some sort of like card that just is going to give them 1,000,000 energy. So they go for that plan. Otherwise, I really don't think that card is worth splashing for. As far as sideboard goes, I mean, didn't see anything worth trading for with Shrewd Negotiation. Decommission could take out their vehicle. Does not do anything to Renegade map, however. So I think we'll stick to the same plan here. Okay, this one's a mulligan. This one's a keep. Artisan we're going to keep on top. Gives us a turn 3, 3/3, which is good. Possibly into Untethered Express if we draw the land. I could also just get 2 bodies, but we'll see. No 2-drop from our opponent. All right, so we get to go Artisan into Untethered Express. Now I'm a little bit more interested in doing Fabricate, getting the servo. We'll see, though. Oh, wow. 3 mana, 3/5, and then it can get lifelink. Oh, yeah, I've played against that. Card is quite good. Well, Fairgrounds Warden's not bad either, but let's go Artisan here. And we're going to do the servo because it's going to be easier to get Revolt with that, plus the Untethered Express next turn. It's going to make it better. This is where Caught in the Brights is much, much worse. All right, Aether Seer. Thankfully, I can't block the Harvester. But they're going to have lifelink for days, so Decommission's definitely coming in now. Unbridled Growth, not bad, but kind of need to do the Express here. We need to get down our threat. So I'm going to attack with the Servo only because the Aether Seer is going to be able to attack next turn. So I want to be able to block it with Artisan. Although, yeah, I guess, I mean, I could just block it with the Untethered Express instead. So I could have just left back the Servo to crew the Express. That's true. Okay, so now I'm going to have to use Caught in the Brights. So let's play the land. Let's play the Growth. I guess we can do this post-combat. So we can set up for a Cavalry next turn. This thing is still doing a lot of work against us, though. But we got to take out the Drake, I think. And then we can deal with the Aether Seer next. So since we're actually attacking with Express this time, it does make more sense to leave back the Artisan this turn. So let's Caught in the Brights the Drake. And then we get our Express on. At least it only crews for one. Alright, so our guy gets buffed. We exile there. And even though it couldn't block our Express anyway, we just need to get their damage off the board here. They still get 3 more lifelink attacks. God, Harvester and Aether Seer are insane together. Alright, so let's growth our planes and then pass. Next turn we can get our Cavalry, which is pretty good, but... Alright, so they're going to be able to deal too much damage to us here, which is a problem, but... it's just the way it is. Alright, Renegade map. Natural Obsolescence dealing with our thing. At least they don't have another creature. Alright, so we're going to have to take another hit from it, but we get to do the Cavalry this turn, so let's sack this. Another Caught in the Brights is nice. Let's get Cavalry online. And I guess swing for 1. 2 cards left in our opponent's hand. Alright, they get the extra card. Opponent's not using the energy to gain life, which is kind of interesting. They want to keep enough to make Aether Seer's ability work, I guess. We have our own Aether Seer now. Well, that's good news. So let's play Aether Seer and force them to block with their Aether Seer. They can crew in response, though. God, like I said, the vehicles completely negate Aether Seer's ability. So I might just have to Warden here. I probably do. And just deal with the Aether Seer. They can still crew off of this, but... this is tough. I could actually play the Dragster. But then I can't crew it. So my opponent can smash me back. So basically, I do have to play the Warden here, or the Caught in the Brights. Warden's going to be much better. So, like I said, if I play the Aether Seer, I can't force the block because they can just crew in response, which just isn't good enough. So let's just play the Warden. I mean, maybe I just attack with Cavalry first. This way, if they have a bounce effect, I can replay it and still a 6/6. Alright, so now we play the Warden. A land there actually would have been pretty slick. I guess I could have attacked with my Servo 2 if I had... I think it would have been the same clock, though. Well, they get the lifelink, too, so I've got to watch out for that. Crewing. Ah, bummer. All right. Opponent got us. So we'll bring in the decommission now that we know there's a rare vehicle. And what shall we take out for it? Maybe a Caught in the Brights? Don't want to drop a creature, that's for sure. Could take out like a Implement. It's a good card. It's a Revolt enabler, but I might actually need these Caught in the Brights despite my opponent kind of going off with vehicles. Implement is pretty good though. But we still have more than enough ways to get our Revolt, so Implement kind of feels like the easiest thing to get rid of. I'd rather run an Unbridled Growth, I think. Maybe not, though. Well, maybe not. It's just, this is a free Revolt trigger, which is, honestly, I think it's significantly better than a 1-mana Revolt trigger. But I guess this has upside. This kind of doesn't. It fixes our mana a little bit. This is tough. I don't want to cut a Caught in the Brights solely because it does deal with things pretty effectively. Yeah, it's Implement versus Unbridled Growth here. Maybe because we have 2 growths, I'm willing to cut one. I do think it's an important card for our deck, though. But we'll leave it like this. All right, final game of the match, and we get to keep this hand. Yes, we do. Okay. So turn 2 Mechanic, turn 3 Dragster, not bad. Potentially turn 4 Express. There's a Caught in the Brights. So play the Mechanic. Remember to click No. Very good. All right, so we want to attack with Mechanic first, and then play the Dragster, and pass. So they can get their... Oh, they're not cracking the map just yet. Mobile Garrison, but no creatures. That's good news. Ooh, I really wish I could play that. All right, let's get our Dragster on here. Get our velocity counter. Get some damage in. And I guess we have to pass. Unfortunately, I really do want to play that Outrider. Or actually the Express, because then into the Outrider, yeah, that would be absurd. So that's kind of the order we want to play it in. Okay, the Raiders, not a huge deal, actually. All right, so we got our 4th land. So This is a pretty good opportunity, because I think my opponent might actually trade. I feel like they will. Don't you? I mean, don't you guys? They don't want me to draw 2 cards. And I really want to draw 2 cards, so I'm going to Caught in the Brights the Raider. And then we'll activate the Dragster. We'll get him for 4. We'll exile their guy. We'll draw 2 cards. Okay. Okay, cool. So next turn we can go Untethered Express. All right, they're going for it. This feels a bit dangerous for my opponent. I mean, the fact that I like that they're doing... oh, I guess they get to untap, though. That's right. So I guess it's not that dangerous. I could play the Eagle here and get in for 3 points of damage, which is actually pretty good. And it makes the best use of mana. That's actually not bad. Because then next turn I can play Rishkar's. Otherwise I play the Untethered, but they have like Natural Obsolescence mana up. The Eagle also flies. I think we'll go Eagle here, because like I said, we get to attack with Mechanic. Although, I mean, Eagles works maybe better with the... I can block with the Express, though. 3 cards in my opponent's hand. So, best use of mana, Eagle. Biggest threat, potentially, for next turn, Express. Because then I get to go Express into Outrider, get a 3/3 trample, plus a Fabricate thing. You activate the Express, swing for 5 next turn. And then maybe even Rishkar's Expertise the next turn after that. My opponent just gets to accrue for days with that and dig and dig and dig. But they do have to find a flyer to do with our Eagle. Somehow I'm the one that ended up way behind on time. It's because these turns are very difficult. I'm going to play the Eagle because it allows me to attack. And if my opponent wants to shock a Mechanic, it's okay. I feel like this, like I said, kind of plays around Natural Obsolescence. I don't even remember if that's a... Honestly, I don't even remember if it's a... I feel like they probably have a shock anyway. But it is an instant. So they left up Natural Obsolescence mana, which made me think maybe they had it. Because just playing an Express and having it go to the bottom of my library seems pretty bad. But getting a 3/3 flyer that also lets me attack with a 3/3 Mechanic feels pretty good. And next turn I can just go Expertise, draw 3 cards, play an Outrider or something now. Or maybe even get a Lifecraft Cavalry. I guess it would only be a 4/4 though. Alright. So it looks like they didn't have shock, or maybe they're just not worried about it, but we're going to get in for 3, which is nice. Yeah, we get into 3 damage too, so it worked out pretty well for us there. Like, we could have set up for an Eagle, but now we have a flyer that they have to deal with as well. He also did not use the Racer there, which either tells me they accidentally missed it or they have a grip full of goodies. Both of those, well, one of those is much better than the other. Certainly not worth double blocking here in case they have the Lifecraft Awakening again. Okay, so now they have the Harvester. which is absolutely an enormous problem. So I really need to find decommission. Chief of the Foundry. Okay. So we're going to play Expertise. We're going to draw 3 cards. I have 6 mana currently. Yeah, it makes the best use of mana. Because then next turn I could still go Outrider Chief. And like I said, I really need to find this. I really want to find this decommission. So let's go Expertise here. We get to draw 3. And then play whatever we need to play. I feel, like I said, I still feel as though they have Natural Obsolescence in their hand. But not 100% on that. They have 2 lifelinks they can do with the Harvester. Okay, so it looks like we should probably just play the Express. Because then next turn we can go Outrider Chief. Or Outrider Artisan setting up for Chief. That's not bad either. Because we'll get a couple servos maybe. But let's play the Express for now. Still no decommission to be had. We can't attack with the Eagle because they can just activate the Harvester. So we'll pass, but we can get there soon, I think. I guess if they have Lifecrafter's Awakening now, we're going to have to find the decommission, or else they're just going to gain too much life. I guess they can activate both of these, attack with both, and they can untap the Harvester, but then they can't activate it again. The Racer's just doing all sorts of work for them. So I could activate the Express in response, but the Express can't. Well, if I activate the Express in response, my opponent can't activate the Garrison and attack with that too, so I probably do want to do it. Ah, bummer. So they kind of got me in a rock and a hard place there, and now they can activate the Garrison. Yeah, so they kind of got... The whole point was I wanted to keep back the Garrison, but I didn't anticipate the removal. So we're taking too much damage here, which is a big bummer, but bummers happen. And they even, yeah, they kind of screwed us there pretty effectively, admittedly. Screwed us pretty good. So I play the Outrider maybe now as a 4/4, so it keeps back the Garrison, and I leave up Built to Last to block the Harvester. I guess that's the play. I mean, I guess if I didn't okay, so if I didn't activate the Untethered Express, they just would have Revolutioned my Eagle probably. So in that sense, I'm almost happier to have the Eagle, I think. Because now I can at least block the Harvester with the Built to Last, assuming my opponent has nothing. Considering how hard they've dug with Racer, it does not seem super likely. But then again, we've dug a million cards too, haven't we? They got rid of Natural Obsolescence. So as expected, they did have the Natural Obsolescence. Okay, another Drake. No attacks. Interesting. So they're playing around something wisely, but... Alright, now we have Caught in the Brights. So what do we do with our 8 mana? We're going to keep 1 up for the Built to Last, even though it's a huge telegraph. I guess I can... I can Caught in the Brights a Drake. Attack with Outrider. And then maybe opponent blocks with Harvester, maybe. And then I can follow up with like a Artisan or something. I think we do want to disable a flyer here though. So let's do that. Even though they can still crew. Let's see. So let's say I Caught in the Brights. They can still crew both of their things. They can block with a Garrison and a Harvester. And even with Built to Last, my Outrider's still going to die. And I have to 2-for-1 myself to kill a Harvester. That doesn't seem great. Another option... This is tough. This is tough. I'm running low on time, too. I've just spent too much time deliberating everything, only because it's extremely important. Jeez. So I have to play this, what is a 3-3 again, making the Chief even more, or less useful, I should say. I could attack with Outrider and then follow up with an Artisan and a Chief. I guess I could do that. All right. I think I might end up 2-for-1ing myself here, but at least the Elite will get a Revolt trigger. Like, I'm hoping that means something. So they did kind of exactly what I thought they would, but we are going to get rid of the, or hopefully we're getting rid of this Harvester here. Unfortunately, still losing our guy, like I said, which is a bummer, but I think it was necessary. That thing is just too good. I wish I could do more. I really do. So we'll play the Elite. Get our card draw on. Another land. So now we can play Artisan. Get a 3-3. I guess that makes more sense. And I guess we do actually want to make it a 3-3 so I can block the Racer. Because we might need the Eagle to hold back the Drakes. So our opponent does have lethal with the Garrison, if it's Lifecrafter's Awakening. Okay. Alright, so forcing our flyer to block, which I guess does make sense. So, just in case they have another shock, we'll block with these two. Because if I block with that and they have shock, you get it. You get it. Alright. Alright. Now decommission's worthless, so... Alright, getting too many lands, which is always why I like to play 16 land decks. This is just so much why. So let's play the Chief. And I guess we have to Caught in the Brights flyer. Still puts us on a 4-turn clock. unless we can find a way to buff Elite to block the Drake. Remember, we have the reach, so we can block, but I can't block a 2-3 with a 2-2 yet. Another Drake? Jeez. Well, that's too bad. All right, Aether Seer, so we can force their... Yeah, we're going to have to do that. So we'll play an Aether Seer. We're going to force their Drake to block our Artisan. They are going to kill our Artisan, but we have to kill their Drake. I really hate how it does the order in such a irritating fashion. It seems like whenever I do my blocking order, it's exactly how they want it. And whenever my opponent does the blocking order, it's the exact opposite of how I want it. I'm not sure if we have any more tricks, to be honest. All right, it's a bummer too, but what can you do? All right, so we got the Warden. Still cannot attack. Next turn I'm going to have to block. Unfortunately, we got a land, so let's pass. Yeah. All right. Once again, precisely why I play 16 lands. All right. Got to go to round 2. Wish we could have won it, but did not quite get there. So, all right. Let's see what was coming up here. Herbalist wouldn't have done it. Cavalry wouldn't have done it. Decommission was way too late. All right. So basically just, yeah, lost against a Harvester. Not much you can do, I guess. We'll see you in round 2.